Welcome back to the Coach Business School podcast. My name is Andy Ramage. I'm the founder of the Coach Business School, and I'll be your coach, your trainer, your guide on this short conversation about all things coaching. And today's a really important topic. What is coaching? Now, it's a really obvious question to someone that is in the world of coaching, but the truth is this: most people have not got a clue what coaching is. Now, really reflect upon this. I get to see it up close all the time. Many people come to train with us at the Coach Business School, and bearing in mind this is a group of people that are really interested in coaching, clearly, because they're considering training with me to become a coach. When I ask the group, how many of you have actually been coached? Barely any hands go up. I'd say it's probably close to 10-15%. Now, isn't that interesting? Let's reflect upon that for a moment. Here's a group of people that are clearly really interested in coaching, and barely any of them have experienced what it's like to even be coached. So when you go to the broader world, you realize that barely anyone, it's infinitesimal, the amount of people that have actually been coached by a good coach. It's like 0.00000 as many noughts as you can think, 1% of the population that have even actually had any good coaching. However, once you're in this world, either as a coach or someone that's interested in potentially becoming a coach, the assumption is everyone's a coach because your algorithms want to show you those type of things, and that everyone has been coached. And the truth is, neither of those things are close to the truth. Barely anyone has ever been coached. And then those that think they know what coaching is very often don't actually know what it is. And I say this out loud because I think it's both really exciting for us as coaches, but also something we have to remind ourselves that most people don't understand what coaching is. Therefore, they might be saying no to something they don't understand. And that goes not only for the individuals you're potentially working with, but also the organizations. Think about it in terms of your coaching. If a client was using a metaphor all the time, and the metaphor, let's say in this instance, was coaching, and you didn't challenge that metaphor to really explore and explain it, you're running on the assumption you know what that metaphor means and that your client knows what you mean by using that metaphor, rather than what's great coaching, explain it, explore it. What does that mean? Rather than making the assumption I know what it means. And I think that's what we're in some ways guilty of as coaches, is running around assuming people know what this word means, this coach word. But it's just a metaphor in many ways, isn't it? People are creating their own interpretations of what that means. And then when you're talking to them about the benefits or the wins of coaching, they're filtering that through their preconceived ideas of what a coach is. And that might be much more reflective of a sports coach they had at school that shouted at them and told them what to do. They might be thinking about a coach of those like fake tan, amazing teeth kind of old school life coaches that are going to tell you how to be amazing just like them. That's not coaching either, is it? So without us doing that work, very often people are running under an assumption about what coaching is when they don't really know the true power of it. Therefore, as coaches, I think we need to remind ourselves, and I'm saying this as much out loud for me as I am for everyone listening and to you, is that we need to remind ourselves that we need to constantly let people know what coaching is and what it is not. We need to help educate as well as coach. And I think once people experience the potential power of coaching, it's a penny drop moment of, oh, I didn't think it was that. That sounds interesting. I'm much more interested to come and work with you now than I was 5 minutes ago, because 5 minutes ago, I thought you were going to tell me what to do. And I don't really need that. Now I see we're going to explore my own mind. So what I thought I'd do for this conversation, I am just going to explain how I see coaching in my own way and give you some ideas around that. If you're listening to this, that's wonderful. I am on the board at the moment, so I will write on the board a little bit. I often train and teach on the blackboard. I like to do that. So if you're watching this, great, you get to see it. If you are coming at this just audibly, I will talk you through everything I'm saying. Anyway, but essentially, I think there's a space and a place for this coach education, i.e. what coaching is and isn't, within every interaction you have, potentially with a new client or an organization, or in the posts that you're sharing, or when you're standing on a stage. Because the truth is this: if someone then gets it and it's like, oh, that's way more appealing than it was in my mind, then you're going to potentially open the door to way more coaching opportunities, plus You're updating the minds and maps and metaphors of most people as to what coaching is and is not. Now, there's an abbreviated version of this. I'm just going to deep dive into some of like the key points. I've got to keep an eye on the time because I'm about to deliver a training pretty soon to all of our coaches. I train all of our coaches in alcohol-free performance coaching, which is my specialism of coaching, and I'm about to deliver that in about 20 minutes. So I've got to make this relatively quickly. Here's how I see coaching and the difference between coaching and mentoring, for example, which I think is really important to get across. Let's begin really quickly though with the well-being scale. So I'll often use this. If you can imagine a well-being scale, -10 at one end is clinically depressed, +10 at the other is optimal and thriving. Coaching, well, let's start with therapy. Therapy is all minus numbers. Can we heal the sick? Can we get someone from a -10 to a 0? So therapy sits in the minus numbers. Counseling probably straddles small negatives, so people that are struggling, and tries to get them into small positive, but then waves them goodbye. Coaching is exclusively 0 to 10. We are 0 to 10 guys and girls. I'm hammering that all the time. When I have my chemistry sessions with clients, i.e. this is a warm-up session before we actually do any official coaching, I'm making that abundantly clear. I'm a 0 to +10 guy. I'm not a therapeutic guy. If there's trauma, if there's past issues that need to be resolved and explored, that's not my role as a coach. As a positive psychologist, I'm 0 to +10. So that's a great thing to tick that box straight away. Also explain that I'm not here to tell you what to do. You've got the answers inside your mind. I'm going to help you explore your mind, and here's why. I use a cheeseburger, and anyone that's trained with me would have seen this cheeseburger on many, many occasions, but effectively the cheeseburger is just a representation of some brilliant philosophical wisdom that demonstrates the power of coaching. And I want to show people the cheeseburger. I do it all the time. This cheeseburger comes out on my iPad when I'm one-to-one in person coaching, whether I'm with a group, because I want them to see the power. This is how you get the penny to drop really quickly. So cheeseburger, person A, B, C comes along. Now they're going to have a similar neurological experience of the cheeseburger, but their beliefs will all be different because we all have a unique map of the world. This is the key to coaching, and why coaching is 10 times, 1,000 times more powerful than just a normal conversation, because your clients will never do this work without a great coach. That is what we want people to understand. That is why it's transformative when we get it right. Person A, B, and C. Person A is an ethical vegan through their beliefs. That leads to emotions potentially of anger and rage at the cheeseburger. How could you do such a thing? Actions, they push it away. Person B, hungover, meat eater. Their beliefs, they enjoy meat. Their emotions, maybe excitement and joy. Their actions, they gobble up the cheeseburger. Person C, their beliefs, for religious reasons, they don't eat beef. Their emotions are disinterest. Their actions are they walk straight past. 10 points for Gryffindor moment. What transformed the experience of the cheeseburger for each person? Their beliefs. This is what coaching does. I train our coaches to coach at the level of belief. That is how we create transformations. Most people running around in the world right now have got no comprehension of this. Now here's the big takeaways. This is why coaching is 1,000 times more powerful than mentoring. Mentoring has a limitation. When we advice give or mentor, we can only do it through our map of the world, through our belief systems. But it's a little bit like the vegan saying to the meat eater, how can you do such a thing to an animal? And the meat eater thinking, well, it just tastes nice. Different maps. That's why advice always falls short. Coaching, however, understands this principle and this process. We help our clients work with their maps. That's why we don't tell our clients what they should or shouldn't do. And who are we to tell them? Because we can only tell them what they should or shouldn't do versus our map, but they've got a different one. So once you understand that process, you start to see the power of it and why advice giving and mentoring often falls short. The power of coaching is helping people explore their own mind. Now with that in mind, then we get to the really juicy part. The beliefs that we hold dictate how we feel and the actions that follow. The greatest gift of coaching is that everything you need is in the room with you. The client that wants to achieve their goal or the obstacle they face is rarely an external problem, and it's really always an internal one. It's a limiting belief. It's a thinking trap. It's a half-truth they've turned into a fact. It's a complete untruth that they've turned into a fact inside their mind. And a great coach is going to help you overcome those limiting beliefs. Pull them apart, challenge that limiting thinking, and in doing so, it frees you up to see opportunities that were never available to you before. It's transformative. Advice given would never get to that. A conversation with a friend would never get to that. You trying to figure this stuff out on your own would never achieve that. A great coach will help you achieve your goals and dreams in a way that you never thought possible. Because it's not an external thing, it's an internal thing. That is what great coaching does. That's the difference between coaching and mentoring. We are not here to tell you what to do. We're here to work with your wonderful brain. You have all the answers. You have everything you need within. We just help you explore where your thinking is, overcome those traps to free you up to see opportunities and options that weren't available before, and in doing so, fast track you to your goals and your dreams. That is what coaching's about. That is why coaching is so powerful and it's transformative. And I'll deliver it like that, with as much welly as that, because I believe in it, and it's true. That is why we get people transformative results. So, given that I've got to go and do another piece of training pretty soon, in our alcohol-free performance coach training with my lovely coaches, I thought I'd share that with you today. There is my interpretation of what coaching is and is not, and why we are not there to tell people what to do, why we don't have to be Yoda and all-knowing and all-wise, because we can only ever be all-knowing through our own map. But we're not working with our map, we're working with our client's map. By helping them explore their own thinking, we create transformation. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation, and I urge you to get out there and talk about what coaching is and isn't. Make sure you do it every time you meet a new client. Make sure you do it every time you're in front of a business or corporate opportunity, so they understand what it is, because at the moment they're thinking it's something completely different to probably what it is. When they see it and feel the power of that, it's like, I want a piece of that. I get it now. That's completely different to what I thought it was. Let's go. If you enjoy this and you want to find out more, don't forget, go to coachbusiness.school. So not .com, .school, coachbusiness.school. On there's loads of different trainings you can take. You can do my foundation certificate. It's the big red button, top right. Just a short course, try before you buy kind of insight to get what it's like to be a coach, to train as a coach and be coached. Pretty cool course. Go and check that out, or come with me on the full diploma that we are running in April, the 6-month opportunity to leverage your life and work experience to create a life of joy, abundance and contribution. What could be better than that? And if you're a qualified coach, you can come and join me on our Coach MBA, Marketing and Business for Qualified Coaches, where I'll help you build the coaching practice of your dreams. Go to coachbusiness.school to find out more. Thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with other coaches that might enjoy these insights, and also make sure to follow along, hit those plus buttons so you don't miss any more episodes such as this one. Until next time, keep coaching. Your coach, Andy.